You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, and welcome back to Wild Dream, where we give you the freshest takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name's Daniel. Yeah, how do you like that? How do you like this energy? What do we do? What did we do? Spend 2.5 hours talking about underrated movies last week? Was it one of the best episodes of any kind of movie-related podcast or media ever? That's what I mean. Yeah, it was, and I'm not going to say it was, but it was. I'm not going to say it was, but
that's what the people are saying.
But
you know, here's the thing about that too. I've kind of talked to you about this off pod. I've talked to Timothy about this. It's like I keep going back and forth between feeling like a total fucking fraud who hasn't seen any movie ever, and then feeling like no one has ever seen the movies that I have seen. It's crazy. Like feeling like, oh, I have no right to even speak on movies. And then also feeling like people who have 100,000 times the fucking viewership that we do. I'm like, how the fuck does anyone listen to your opinion ever? So it's like there's just these two, extremes. And one of the things that kind of caused the latter version of that I was going over with Dan because it pissed me off so much was these two guys who, again, I'm talking 5 million views per video, crazy views on their and listens on their podcast, and they have a movie podcast where they just talk about movies, and they did a sci-fi movie draft where they were drafting sci-fi movies, and the picks that they went with infuriated me because I was like, you guys. I'm talking they're each doing 10 movies, I think it was, and it was it wasn't until they got to one of them getting to 7, so we're at 14 movies that they mentioned Arrival. I was like, how's Arrival not go top 3 in a draft? I'm like, are you insane? And I was like, okay, fine, I'm fine with Interstellar or whatever, but I was telling Dan, I was like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is coming off my board on a sci-fi draft in the top 2 picks. You know what I'm saying? If it lands to me, obviously you and I would go Another Earth, Origins. There are so many movies that we just, the more we talked about it, the more we came up with where I'm like, this is a sci-fi movie. I'm like, this is a sci-fi movie. This movie's a fucking sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about them as sci-fi movies, but they are.
Exactly.
Annihilation didn't even get drafted.
That's crazy.
I'm like, come on, man.
If especially you have that many spots. Yeah, man. I mean, I loved that episode. I'm still listening through it. I'm 2/3 in because it is one of our longer ones. And I'm just I love it. I'm listening to it on my walks and I'm like, am I a narcissist for really enjoying just listening to me and my brother talk about movies for 2 straight hours?
Hell,
this rocks.
30 minutes before we hit record on this, we were playing Wild Dream for my dog in the
Wild Dream stream.
And we were watching it and laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Our stream is funny,
bro.
man. Yeah.
It is funny, though.
No, I feel you. Yeah. I'm super happy about the fact that we're still doing it. I'm super happy with the content itself and how it's coming out. But
yeah, and I swear, guys, we could have gone for another 2 hours on that episode.
Oh, yeah.
The second we stopped, I thought of 5 more movies I wanted to
exactly.
talk about.
And you can hear on the episode us thinking of movies as we talk and going, oh, you know what? Just add this.
Yeah.
But something that I have really, really missed is going to the theater.
Dude, me too.
I'm not going to go watch the Michael Jackson biopic. You can fuck off with that. No shot. I'm not going to go watch You, Me, and Tuscany. Looks like I thought it was the Summer I Turned Pretty show or whatever the fuck. I mean, it looked horrible. It's just been awful weekend after awful weekend for movies, and I was like, dude,
let's go watch Mother Mary, a movie that got some of the worst reviews I've ever seen. It's we're supposed to be talking about Anne Hathaway making her comeback in Hollywood. Now she's, doing all these movies again.
I have not been interested in anything coming out in the past 2 or 3 weeks. It's been so rough. And then now all of a sudden it is May and it is hey guys, guess what? You're gonna be very booked this month.
You're gonna get your money's worth from the A-list membership, which is going up in July, by the way, because even more movies are coming out this year that they're gonna up it in July with, especially with these Marvel movies.
Yeah, so
expected
it's
this year. So
I'm excited to be excited about theatrical releases again.
yeah, speaking of being excited, this is a one of the most anticipated movies of the year for me. Definitely one of the most anticipated horror movies in a while. We just saw Hokum, if you got him, baby. And yeah, this movie has been being talked about for a long time. Also, this is a director that me and Daniel have been following and really enjoy. Now, you more than me because I've only seen one of his other two movies that I know about, and you've seen both of them. But point is that this is a guy who, when we saw his movie Caveat, I keep wanting to say his first movie. I don't know if it is. I've done a deep
I think
dive.
it was his first feature. Yeah.
I assume that it was. It's been talked about as if it is. So I assume that it is. But yes, Caveat was a movie that was, not the best horror movie ever, but was really good and really enjoyable. And definitely for a Shudder movie was like top tier Shudder.
Yeah.
Where you can just see the talent. It was very similar to like Talk to Me. If you guys, go back and listen to our Talk to Me episode, we said during that episode, like, this movie was pretty good. It had a lot of good moments, but it wasn't, amazing. I can't wait to see what these guys do next. Whatever they do next, we will go see because we can see these glimmers of talent. And then they go and Bring Her Back, and we thought it was the best horror movie of the year. So, like, it's a very similar thing with this guy, is that we saw Caveat, and you watched Oddity, and you enjoyed Oddity. Did you like Oddity more than Caveat?
I liked it about the same. About the same. They're hard to rate because I feel like Oddity as an entire movie is probably a little better. But at the same time, like the absolute highs of horror from Caveat were a lot higher than the horror highs in Oddity. Right. So that's only a specific part of the movie, right? So it's really hard to rate. But Oddity is and again, he does explore a lot of very claustrophobic elements. Yeah. And Oddity was a little bit bigger in scale than Caveat. Not massively, but and that's something that I always found a charm to Caveat as well, is the same thing that we were talking about last week for Another Earth, and just like the constraints of your budget and making so much out of so little is really, really impressive. And it was an original idea. Even just the mental image of a man being attached by a chain through a vest as a prisoner of a house. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like that, just that visual alone is like kind of, it's just kind of gnarly. And so
it's very interesting that it is one of those things where it's like, if you take Caveat, okay, and you shoot it a slightly different way, right, in a couple of scenes, and you increase the brightness and you clean up the house and, you do all that, you can make it into a Wes Anderson movie. Like, it's that kind of like, this is a very eccentric thing. It is just so eccentric, It's like, this could be a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. This could be, because it's, this concept that's so unique and special and creative, and putting it into this horror space, I thought that, he did a really good job with it. And like you said, like making it very claustrophobic and, not going so like to the Saw level of, like claustrophobia and dinge and disgust and, whatever, but way closer to that, Sure. To where it becomes eerie. And I think that that's something that this director does really well, is, claustrophobia and really using a space to its fullest potential, and finding, the things that are really creepy about something that may seem normal or something that you could find in the world, and also incorporating things that you would never find, that you've never heard of. Like, I think that his creativity is one of the best things about him, is that, everyone was saying about this movie, about Hokum. They were like, this is one of the most refreshing horror movies in a long time. This is one of the best, most creative horror movies, one of the most original horror movies. Like that's the main thing I heard about it going into it. And so I was really excited for that, because I watched Caveat and I was like, yeah, this is a very original and creative, concept for a horror movie. Yeah. And I didn't know anything about Hokum. I didn't know, I think I heard about it had to do something with witches. So spoiler alert, if you didn't know that, sorry. But other than that, I didn't know anything about it. other than who made it and what else he made, and that it had Adam Scott in it. Obviously, everyone knew that because they were like, Adam Scott in a horror movie, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say I am really, really impressed with this movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There are some things that we need to discuss that aren't great about this movie. So if you think this is going to be one of those Daniel and Dave Glazer movie for 2 hours, it won't be. So
Definitely not.
if you like, which, depending on how you prefer us discuss movies, I think you're going to get a good mix of both for this one. With that said, I enjoyed this movie quite a bit, and I think that they did the stuff that they did well. They did really, really, really well. The stuff that they didn't do well, it was, I didn't like that. I prefer that not be there or whatever. It didn't take enough away from the movie for it to be like unwatchable or unbearable, or whatever. Like, this is a movie I would be very excited to watch again.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie, but it is my least favorite of all of his movies. I liked it, didn't love it. And I'd be way more excited to watch Caveat or Oddity before this. So I might be a little lower on it than you, just based on the way that sounds. But and we'll talk about some of the more egregious things that this movie does that is very disappointing from Damian McCarthy. But also, I think it's really important to mention that this is his biggest film in terms of
budget,
distribution, marketing, all of that, actors, everything. 100%. So I am going to be that. I know we do this sometimes jokingly and then sometimes actually for real, but I am halfway kind of like, well, maybe it was the studio.
No,
maybe the studio was like, do this.
I'm telling you this
because it's weird.
It would make 0% sense in my brain for some of the things in this movie that were egregious to be anything less than the studio. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, every fucking movie studio in America, and not even just in America either, every movie studio across the world has a couple of the fucking dumbest people you've ever met in your like lowest denomination of stupidity that watch these movies and they raise their hand in the back room and go, wait, what?
Right.
And then they go, okay, because fucking Jerry said that we have to fix this part. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense for anyone to think, oh, we need this. And really what we're like, because I don't want to give spoilers, obviously, but what we're talking about is when the movie is force feeding you extremely obvious information, right? Force feeding you extremely obvious information. Like, just like cutting back to things and zooming in on them. Like a really good, like, again, if you're someone who doesn't like to, listen to spoiler free or spoiler talk and you just want spoiler free, what I am talking about, we discussed in depth in the Substance review. So if you go and listen to the Substance review,
shout out to Gabby.
We talked about that a lot in that movie because that movie is like, does it non-fucking stop. Just every single time they mention something, they show it on screen. I have to tell you, hey, in case you forgot, we didn't think you could figure this one out. So here it is. I'm just like, oh my God, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does feel like a studio thing to me, especially when like Caveat doesn't have that. I assume Oddity doesn't have shit like that, like to that degree. Yeah. It's very fucking annoying. And but at the same time, I do think that I think something that you said coming out of the theater helps with my processing of this, because there are things in the movie that I really didn't like in terms of the writing. The things I love the most about this movie are the horror elements and the cinematography and the color grading and the lighting. From a story perspective, I have a lot of issues with the writing of this movie. And that's the thing I'm going to talk the most in depth about when I talk shit about it. But, I think that the writing of this movie is at least it's consistent in terms of like, and that's one of the things you say is like, yeah, they do this really bad thing, but at least they do that every time they have to tell the story, Exactly. It's not something like The Bride. Like when I think of an inconsistent movie, I think of The Bride. An absolute whiplash of an experience of just like, where are we going? And it's
So yeah, consistency is sometimes a good thing to. It's a good thing to kind of combat choices that you might not agree with. And so yeah, mine was like, okay, the pace and way in which they give information is consistent. It's not. It doesn't like. So it's like, okay, fine. If I don't like it, at least it's not a tonal shift at any point where then they all of a sudden change it. So it was easy to kind of like get used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I did like this movie again. I didn't love it, and it is my least favorite of his three. I really think Oddity is probably his most polished project, but I did love I was also really impressed with Adam Scott. I think that he's
good. He's been good for a long time.
He's been good for a long time, and
I haven't seen Little Women yet.
I forget how good he is at like just how diverse he can be with his roles. The fact that he can play someone like Ben Wyatt, who on Parks and Rec, who is an absolutely lovable dork, who is very shy and not very manly and very, you know what I mean? Like, just a very, very awesome, redeemable character. And then he can play a character like this, where in the first 15 minutes, I was like, I hope this guy fucking gets what's coming to him.
Yeah.
Like he was an absolute prick asshole.
We always forget about Derek from Step Brothers.
Yeah, and then I was actually going to shout that one out too, because that one's just off the wall douchebaggery.
Yeah.
And it's like, he is so good at, and then of course, Severance is his biggest role.
Yeah.
And that role is very complex, especially because he has two personalities.
Yeah.
Right?
Which means he should win Best
actor. He should win Best Actor.
Because he actually plays
two
different
roles?
basically.
But yeah.
In fact, all of the actors from that show have to play. Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I was impressed with him because this is not like any of those, because this is horror movie acting.
Yeah.
And so outside of the character itself and how complex the character can be, especially with how negative the character is, you just have these standard horror scenes where you have to walk around slowly and react to stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd because I've been a part of horror projects. It is a very awkward way of acting where a lot of stuff comes together in editing more than anything. Like, I think out of all the genres, to me, it's just horror movies really, really rely on editing for it to come together, because as you're shooting it, it's really awkward and it's stilted and it doesn't make a lot of sense. It also impresses me with people who can direct horror, because you have to have a very specific vision of how it's going to turn out in post. And so,
now, I will say we love and respect editors to the utmost degree on Wild Dream. I think that every movie requires good editing in order for the movie to be good. I'm talking from an actor's perspective. Yeah. It's from an acting's perspective, it is one of the. It's
hard for me to see as I'm acting in those kind of projects, like what is this going to look like or feel like?
Yeah.
Final product. Whereas if I were doing a drama, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a scene and I'm hamming it up and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and my scene partner's coming back at me. Oh yeah. I can already feel that. I can already see how this is going to be stitched in to the project. Even with comedy, I feel like comedy is the most instantly rewarding anything.
Yeah.
As far as anything that's so instantly rewarding. I'm like, this is going to be funny. It's because you get that immediate reaction of laughing and stuff. So it's horror filmmaking is very interesting to me in that way. It's as an actor, it's just like, man, it's the hardest one to really see the vision. And I think he did good.
He said already that, when he went to the premiere of the movie, he was jumping at every scare because they weren't in the movie when he was acting in them. So you know what I'm saying? Like he's saw that stuff for the first time. We hear this a lot from people who are in horror movies. Like, I think Toni Collette is a great example. She says that she doesn't like horror movies and she's really scared by them, despite being in The Sixth Sense and Hereditary, two of the biggest horror movies of their decades.
Yeah.
And, she even said that in The Sixth Sense, in the scene where the girl comes up with the bike and, the helmet and she's bleeding all over her, she's like, yeah, I didn't even see that girl on set because they knew that I get scared easily. Mm-hmm. So if you watch the scene, she's like staring the other way the whole time. It's like
exactly.
So it's a very interesting thing. And then obviously in Hereditary, she said she just performed it as a drama. She's just focusing on a mother who is grieving and not all this other stuff. And I'm like, what about when you're sawing your fucking head off? How do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But the good actors can do that. She's someone who's very dynamic. And I think that we are seeing a lot of, like, it's really good to see predominantly television actors go and do a movie like this. I really enjoy seeing that, with Adam
Same.
Scott being someone who is primarily known for his roles in television. You love to see them go and do movies like this. And I think that Toni Collette even is an example of that, because she, a lot of people know her as the girl from United States of Terror. And so it's when she goes and does those horror movies. I mean, obviously, I think The Sixth Sense is before United States of Terror, but still, it's fun to see television actors really get to lock in on a character. And I think that for Adam Scott, playing these, all these dynamic roles over the years, that is the reason why we are mentioning him in every single promotion for this movie. Like, oh my God, Adam Scott in a horror movie, Adam Scott in a horror movie, Adam Scott in a movie. That's like the big headline,
It really is,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, because he's done like everything else. You know what I'm saying? Up to this point, he's done television, he's done movies, he's done dramas, he's done, the fucking slapstick, stepbrother type, movies. It's like he's done all these different things, but he hasn't been in a horror movie yet. And that's awesome. It's like people were saying, the same thing for Hugh Grant when he did Heretic. Like, people were really excited to see him in a horror movie and playing a villain and all stuff. And if you want to know how we thought about that, scroll down and go listen to our Heretic episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, he was really good. I think a lot of the actors in this movie were really good. And I think that his character is the best part of the writing, I guess I should say. Like, I will get into details when we get into spoiler talk about my issues with the writing. But his character is very consistent and very, a certain way. And I didn't know he was going to be like that. So it was a little bit jarring when it first started. Because like you say, he's played in this movie, he's kind of an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Not kind of. He's a fucking asshole.
He's an absolute piece of shit asshole.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that he's able to pull that off. I think that he did great. I loved some of the set design in this. I think they made a great choice of how they shot this. I love there's very key elements that I don't want to spoil. So I'm just saying that this movie is very claustrophobic, as just like his other films are, but in a bigger way. And I think that there's some concepts about just this simple horror idea of certain aspects of this location that I'm like, this is brilliant. Like the idea of this is brilliant, even if it is just a folk tale. If it was like a scary story you heard about this and that, you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. That's scary. So I really enjoyed that. I'm excited to talk about it. Like without having to not spoil anything. So I'm done saying stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I want to say that I can say in spoiler-free talk, so I might as well mention it, is that I really did think that the lighting and color grading of this movie was near perfect for me. Like, when you talk about like every frame of painting, I was very, very impressed by the lighting and color grading of every single shot in this entire movie. Like, to the point where it's like, oh, they just really cared, is what it felt like for me. I think there were times in the movie where I was like, oh, well, this kind of looks like a Netflix thing. But then I was like, wait, no, it doesn't. Because, it doesn't look like Fear Street, whatever. I'm like, it doesn't look like that. But it does look kind of Netflix-y. Why do I feel that way? And I realized, I was like, oh, because it kind of looks like Mike Flanagan's projects. One of the best horror, creators out there. So, I was like, okay, that's a good thing. I know he's a Netflix guy. So yeah, it is Netflix, looks kind of like Netflix. But I just think that when you compare this movie to some other movies that we've watched in the last few years or so that, very hyped up and talked about horror movies, this one like blows them out of the water. Especially even when you go to like Neon specifically, it's like, oh yeah, if this has better lighting and color grading than It Lives Inside by a country fucking mile, So I really, really love that part of the movie, and it's definitely a big contributing factor to the way I feel about the movie. It's just that every frame looked incredible.
Yeah, very fair.
All right, you ready to get into spoiler talk?
I'm ready. Spoiler alert.
Sorry about that. We're going to explain that right now.
We're going to explain that right now. Sit down, strap in, and get ready, because it's time for The Rundown.
Hokum.
Yeah, I make this Hokum. Come on, man. Let's go, brother. I can't believe I just thought of that this whole time.
Hokum is a movie that somehow saw a take or an edit of our unreleased, unfinished short film that I've shot 2 years ago and ripped us the fuck off. Because they made a horror movie about a writer. Are you fucking serious?
That's insane. I didn't even think about that. That didn't click for me.
Fucking infuriating. I'm like, wow, they're basically doing our thing.
They stole our whole routine. They stole our whole
flow, word for word, bar for bar.
Wow, unbelievable.
Unbelievable, dude. When we fucking release that, which we're gonna release for sure,
we're gonna
do that. And
yeah, I might have been 60 pounds heavier than I am now.
You were massive.
Who cared? Yeah, Dave might have had trouble editing because I took up too much of the frame and it was fucking up the edit. Yeah, sure, okay, but it's coming out, man. We're gonna release it.
Coming out. It was shot during a time when it still snowed in Colorado, and that's
that's how long ago it was. It used to snow.
It used to snow here.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah.
Some local humor for our local listeners.
When I pulled up the video file or the file for that the other day, because I actually did work on it again recently, I was like, oh, I have not touched this in 2 years. Yeah, this movie opens up on a scene from this main character's book that he is currently writing, and I guess he's like some kind of sci-fi fantasy type writer. I don't know. Was it about pirates? I couldn't really tell, but it was definitely like a guy and a child following a map. And I swear this is important to the movie.
In the desert.
I know we're in the rundown, but it is important to the movie for context later. They're in the desert and they're following a map and they find a spot that they think is the spot, but they need the map to confirm. But he realizes that he put the map back in a bottle that he is now sealed that cannot be opened back up. He'd be like pushed a cork in too far and they don't have any way to open it up. And so he realizes that he can't smash the bottle open because there's nothing but sand around them and there's nothing hard enough to smash the bottle on. So he gets the kid to come over to him and he says, turn around. And he like looks like he's about to smash the bottle over his head. So then we cut to reality. It's kind of cutting back and forth between that and reality. But anyways, in reality, we have Adam Scott. We have a man and he's in this apartment and he's all alone and he's kind of going through a bunch of stuff that he has. And we also get a Chekhov's gun, kind of. Everything in this movie is Chekhov's. I mean, it's just foreshadowing. Ever seen a movie? But ton of foreshadowing in this movie. Ton of, a lot of the movie follows the kind of structure of this book that he's writing. Like it's foreshadows what's going to happen in the movie in real life. Mm-hmm. That's why I mentioned it. But he has his mom and dad's ashes and like a bunch of their stuff and he like puts it all together and there's like a couple scary moments in this opening sequence. We see like a figure in the background and then now they're behind him and it's like, oh, what is that? I don't know. No context to the movie. It hasn't really started yet. But then we get one of the things I said coming out of this movie is I said this movie is The Shining meets every horror game that Daniel plays on Sunday Scaries, because it was like, oh, he goes to a hotel and the hotel is haunted and he actually does do a long driving to the hotel sequence like the opening of The Shining. Again, it looks really beautiful, looks really good. But anyways, so he gets to the hotel in Ireland. It's a very small, like kind of rinky-dink hotel, the kind of place that still hands you a physical key when you go in, but it's also not like so run down.
That's actually an important part of this movie to me. Okay. I don't mean to derail your rundown, but there were a lot of times throughout this movie where I was like, what year does this take place? Because he's typing on a laptop.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
He lives in a very modern home, too.
And very modern home. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, why does he not have an iPhone?
Yeah, he doesn't use one, but also
He uses a tape recorder, which is very old school, and maybe that's a writer thing, but it's still, he uses a tape recorder. There are moments where he uses a lantern instead of a flashlight on his phone. Like, there's just so many moments where I was like, when does this take place?
I have an idea for the context of that, and we'll get to that when I get to that part in the thing. Okay, so he is at this hotel, and we said he's a fucking asshole. He's an asshole to everybody. He's an asshole to the first person he sees. A person working for the hotel who has killed a goat. I actually did feel for the goats in this movie, man. Because there are a bunch of goats in this movie, and there's a guy who's shooting them with a crossbow. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is kind of fucked up. But anyways, he's also in another country where he doesn't understand anything about the ecosystem or the animals or anything like that, and he's just judging them based on what he thinks they should do.
Yeah, he's so outspoken to a fault.
I'm like,
insane.
Really, bro? I'm like, you don't understand this dynamic at all. You have no idea what is good or bad for the population of the goats in the area. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm someone who understands like hunting is actually important for the ecosystems of a lot of the hunting leases in America. But anyways, so he is also then calls out this guy. They have this really cool sequence where this old man is explaining to these two kids the story of this area, right? And he's talking about these witches that used to be in the area, and they would trick kids into coming out, and they would shackle them like prisoners and then drag them into another world or whatever. It's a really cool visual, the way that they do it. It kind of reminded me of Talk to Me a little bit in terms of like this like porcelain, figurine or whatever.
Yeah, I like that sequence a lot. And the art direction on the way that those faces were so uncanny valley animated kind of, or designed. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, very cool, very creative. It kind of goes into like literally a black background showing these little figurines or whatever. But then of course Adam Scott is like, hey man, shut the fuck up. Stop talking to these kids.
I'm an American.
Fuck it.
I'm imposing my will.
I can say whatever I want. And again, I have some context for this, guys, I swear. So then, there's a bunch of moments like that, but just understand this is how this guy talks to people. He's like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. Anything he sees an issue with, he's like, hey, stop fucking doing that to just random people. And then when people are like really nice to him, he's like, that's cool, fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Like even when he gets his key and he goes up to his room, he's walking around, he can't find his fucking room, and then a woman who works at the hotel is like, oh, you look lost. Are you lost? And he's like, what does it look like?
What does it look like?
What does it look like? Literally, what does it look like?
Oh,
I wouldn't expect
really?
the female brain to understand context.
What an astute observation from the valedictorian of this hotel. A guy is very puzzled, and she deduces he's lost. Congratulations. Here's your award for smartest person in the world. Yes, I'm fucking lost. I hate him.
He says, what does it look like? And she says, well, it looks like you're going to stay lost with that attitude.
Yeah.
And he was
Get
like,
him, girl.
okay, I'm sorry.
That was a bar.
Yeah. She gets his ass. I was like, I like her.
Yeah.
So he gets, shown to his room, but then, they explain like this hotel's it's about to be Halloween and they're going to be doing events and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I just want to be alone. It's like, okay, we get it, man.
Yeah.
But then we show why he's here in the first place. They cut to, he's goes out into the woods in this area. He goes to this specific tree and he spreads their ashes at both of his parents. And you can see this is like one of the things, I don't know if we mentioned this in spoiler free talk or not, but this movie has a lot of funny moments, like laugh out loud funny moments, and they are really good about it in this movie. And like when it takes place and how often they do it, and it's just like you laugh at the parts you're supposed to laugh at. That is important for horror movies. That's not always the case.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we talk about horror movies in a so bad they're good kind of way a lot of times. This is a movie that has intentional jokes that are very funny, and this is one of them, where when he goes to spread his mom's ashes, he like goes and gets really close to the tree and gets like all up inside of it. He like sprinkles them out, like a dusting of them, and then all around, and then he grabs his dad's, opens it, and dumps it out far from the like a couple steps from the tree. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I understand his dynamic with his two parents, and how he feels about them.
Which, even if he didn't go into detail about his relationship with them later in the movie, So if that didn't
I
exist,
would have loved that to
I know
be the thing.
you would have known how he felt right there. Like that's great storytelling to like know how he feels about his
really,
father.
really good exposition immediately. Hey, this is how he feels about it. I'm showing you how he feels about his father. Dumps him in his ashes just in the, like not even in the tree really, just like kind of near the tree, whatever.
Yeah.
So then he meets this other character,
Jerry,
a
guy who hangs out in the woods.
A guy who hangs out in the woods is a homeless man who hangs out in the woods outside of the hotel. The important thing to know about Jerry is that he loves mushrooms. He drinks like a tincture with mushrooms in him, and he also gives Adam Scott some moonshine. I forgot his character's name.
His first name is Ohm. It is Ohm.
Ohm. That's not a name. So
What a relaxing name. Ohm.
for a guy who doesn't relax.
True.
So anyways, we go back to the hotel and he's at the bar and he's drinking. Now, I'm going to tell you what information we learn about this character, and I'm going to tell you in the same way the movie does, through dialogue directly to you for no reason whatsoever. I am going to forgive it ever so slightly for the same reason I'm giving some context to some other stuff here in a second. So stay tuned. You can't tune out. Can't tell you have to keep listening. Ooh. He says, yeah, when I was a kid, my mom died. She came home from work and someone shot her in the face. And they didn't prosecute the guy because he was too young, they said. And immediately, you and I, who watch a lot of movies, are like, he killed his mom. Am I right? You also thought that he was the one who shot his mom?
No.
Oh, I immediately was like, oh, it was you. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that until they showed it in the movie.
Oh. I didn't
Sorry,
know.
I'm fucking dumb. I'm a suit. I might as well be on the fucking movie studio team that you were talking about.
Anyways, and then he says, and then after my mom died, my dad became a huge fucking asshole and I hated him and I didn't get along with him at all. And then the girl that he's talking to is like, "Oh, cool. Did you know that this hotel is haunted and the honeymoon suite has a witch in it?" Yeah, I love witches. Here's a book that I carry with me all the time that I love and keep at the bar that looks brand fucking new, like no one has ever touched it in ever. That's about witches and how to protect yourself against witches. And she pulls out this book. It's pristine.
Beautiful emerald green.
Beautiful emerald green, not a fucking stain or nothing on it. Opens it up, shows him, says, hey, yeah, if you're ever being chased by a witch, you should draw a circle and chalk around you. And then we go Chekhov's chalk. Chekhov's chalk line. So then one of the bellhops comes up to them and he's like, hey, I'm actually a writer too. And Adam Scott, or Ohm, being the asshole that he is like, yeah, that's why you work here, huh? Yeah, this must be a costume then. Oh, you're a writer too? Ugh. I'm like, okay, this guy.
If you don't fucking slit your own wrist and bleed on the page, you're not a real writer, buddy.
Every good writer hates themselves and is miserable.
Yeah, the fucking pretentious. I mean, they nailed it, but still, I was like, oh God, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
This is really when I was like, I hope this guy gets his head ripped off or something by this witch.
And you know what? Here's the thing too. So in this scene, he's explaining to the woman, and this is the woman he disrespected earlier, by the way. And now she's working at the hotel bar. He explains to her what he's gonna do for the end of this book. And he says that what's gonna happen is that this guy's gonna smash the kid's head in with this bottle and kill the kid trying to break it, and it's still not gonna break. And then he's gonna walk away. He's gonna feel so bad. He's gonna walk into the desert and die, even though he was feet away from the treasure that they were searching for the entire time. And she's like, "That's fucking awful. If you write it like that, I'm not reading that shit." And I was like, I bet Dan would like an ending like that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's very bleak and it's very, dark. And, she's like, yeah, no, not me. But anyway, so yeah, he has this interaction with the bellhop. I think it is an important scene to talk about because it was so it was just so fucked up. It was basically, he's like, warming up a spoon and he's making fun of the guy and he takes a note in his little tape recorder that he uses for, taking notes for his books.
This was a good comedy moment.
To make fun of the guy. He's like, yeah, actually I have an idea for a character based on you, based on this conversation. And he's like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah. And he pushes the tape recorder. He goes, okay, character who is completely oblivious entirely to when someone is making fun of them and does not want to continue talking to them. And the guy's like, anyway, so the other book that you read, and he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, so he has this interaction. He's like, I'm a writer. He's like, no, you're not a writer. And so he then takes the spoon that he's been like had inside of a old school jack-o'-lantern that's actually inside of a turnip, which is what jack-o'-lanterns used to be, in turnips. So he takes it out and he burns the guy's hand, and he like screams, and he's like, and he goes, you're gonna need thicker skin than that to be a writer. And he's like, oh, you're an asshole. And then the guy leaves. So then the woman who's working at the hotel, she is like, a little bit later in the night, she's like, I think we need to check on Ohm. And the guy's like, why? The bellhop, he's like, why? And she's like, I don't know, I just have a feeling. So then they go into his room, and he's hanging from the ceiling. So, you know, that is the context to a lot of the stuff, in my opinion. I'm like, why does he not have a cell phone? Well, if you were planning on killing yourself in a hotel that still uses keys, are you bringing your cell phone with you into the middle of nowhere, Ireland? Like, you know, if you are planning on killing yourself in 24 hours, then maybe when you see something you don't like, you just say, hey, asshole, fuck you. Because you're about to kill yourself. It's like the TV show Afterlife, you know, the Ricky Gervais show, you know, where the whole premise of that show is that he attempts suicide and, you know, it fails. And then he's like decided that he hates life so much that he's just going to live however he wants and say whatever he wants to whoever he wants. And if anything bad actually happens or anything, you know, goes wrong, he's just going to kill himself. And he like explains it in the show as like, it's like a superpower. I can do whatever I want, say whatever I want. Because, you know, if anything bad happens, I'll just kill myself because I don't even want to live anymore anyway. So it's like, I feel like that's this, like, I'm putting that, like, mentality and that kind of, you know, character from that show into the mindset of this character. You know, it's like, why would you walk around and be an asshole to everybody and say whatever you want and whatever? It's like, yeah, because he's about to go kill himself. But anyways, doesn't work. He ends up waking up in the hospital. He goes back to the hotel, and it's been a couple of weeks, they said. I don't remember exactly how many weeks, but it's been a couple of weeks. They're actually about to close the hotel for the season. I'm assuming it closes for the wintertime if it's, you know, a place that's not built for winter weather. And especially if they're in the mountains, you can't get to them. That's why, you know, in The Shining, that's the whole point of The Shining. Not anymore. Here in Colorado, you can actually access everywhere in the wintertime because it doesn't snow anymore. So that's how you know that movie's dated. You're going to go watch The Shining and you're going to wait, snow in Colorado? What the hell? Anyways, local humor here.
The rundown.
So, I mean, because the movie, yeah, anyways. He wakes up, he goes back to the hotel, and then he's like, I want to thank the woman for saving my life. And they're like, well, she's missing. He's like, what the fuck? Okay, so we need to look for her. And they're like, yeah, I mean, if you want to look for her, you can. So,
be my guest.
Be my guest. So then he finds out that the homeless man that lives in the woods is being blamed for her disappearance. They're like, well, he disappeared the same time that she disappeared. And he also had murdered his wife, or he disappeared when his wife had a mysterious death a while ago. So everyone thinks he's a murderer anyway. And he went missing the same night she went missing. So he goes and he finds the guy. And again, this is terrible exposition and something I didn't like in the movie. He's like, hey, so they're looking for you. And they said that you killed your wife. And the guy's like, yeah, I did. I killed her. She was really sick and put her out of her misery. She was in a lot of pain. And he's like, okay, where's this girl? He's like, well, me and her were friends, obviously, you know, and I think that she's back at the hotel, and I think she's in this honeymoon suite that is locked down. No one can ever go up there. It's fucking behind a gate with a key and a, you know, elevator and all this stuff, and it's guarded at all times. I think she's there because I went there and I hallucinated that I saw her ghost. So they go back to the hotel, and then the homeless man ends up getting kidnapped because someone was waiting for him. They're all waiting for him because that's who they think took this girl. But Adam Scott, Ohm, doesn't get caught by these people, and he ends up going up to the honeymoon suite. Now, the almost rest of the movie takes place in this honeymoon suite. So, believe it or not, there's a horror movie. So everything in this honeymoon suite is actually haunted and actually played by witches. And all the witches and stories that they told in the beginning of the movie with the clay figurines was actually real. Would you believe it or not that the horror elements in this movie are actually a metaphor for something else? What are they a metaphor for? They are a metaphor for guilt. That is the main thing that these horror things are a metaphor for. We see Ohm in this, this space, and one of the people who works at the hotel is up there with him at a certain point, and he pushes the elevator button on a dumbwaiter that starts to come up, and then the guy who works at the hotel freaks the fuck out and runs away. And we're like, why is he doing that? Elevator gets to the top, and there's the missing girl. And this is what we're talking about with this director. He loves having dead bodies in his movies.
Yeah.
He loves to zoom in on their dead faces as they stare into our souls blankly. He loves for people who were alive to have to be right next to dead people.
Yeah, man.
For extended periods of time.
Love it.
So, yeah, the rest of the movie, or this whole section of the movie plays out like one of these video games that Daniel plays every Sunday. So go watch some of those. He's basically in an escape room now. He's in a haunted escape room. He has to figure out how to get out of there. Mm-hmm. And he decides, so he has, the only thing that he has with him really is this tape recorder that this woman took from him when she got him down. And the tape recorder gives us a bunch of, explains everything to us. They do like a little flashback where they show, her being taken up there by this other hotel employee that ends up running out, and him putting her in the dumbwaiter. No, they don't show how she dies or anything like that, but they show that. So we know this guy did this. Mm-hmm. The tape recorder's like, yeah, so me and him were having an affair with each other, and I was pregnant, and he wasn't happy that I was going to keep the baby because it was going to ruin his job and also his marriage life. So that's why he drugged me and put me in here, and I'm in the dumbwaiter now.
And there's a witch.
And we're like, okay, there's all the context you need. There you go. That's why he did that, and that's why she's dead. So yeah, everything just the haunted, scary movie. Think about it like that, okay? Bunch of spooky stuff keeps happening, jump scares, etc. He ends up going into the dumbwaiter, going down the dumbwaiter, and there's these tunnels of, like cobblestone in the basement of this hotel. And it's haunted, believe it or not. And he finds chalk in there, and we're all like, okay, cool. And then he gets chased by a witch. And earlier in the movie, they said, if you get chased by a witch, you should draw a circle in chalk. And then the witch chases him for fucking 20 minutes before he takes the chalk out of his pocket. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the only thing you know about witches is to draw chalk in a circle. Like, what the fuck, man? He just it pissed me off. Anyways.
Might be a writer, but not much of a reader.
Not much of a reader.
You didn't read that book she gave you, did you?
Oh, yeah. Asshole man didn't listen to a woman.
Wow. Breaking news.
Breaking news. First thing ever. Ladies, I would know that.
Let me get next. They're going to tell me billionaires are bad people.
He is being plagued by witches, and when he wakes up the next day, he is still trapped in this room in this hotel. And what ends up happening is the homeless guy, I forget his name, I'm sorry. Jerry. He escapes his captors and comes back to the hotel to save Ohm. But it's kind of comedic, but also like plays into the allegory of his story, where it's like, oh, right when you get to the very end, the thing that you thought was going to be easy and quick, it ends up not being that way. In that there's a bell that he can ring from the honeymoon suite to alert that somebody is in there. But every time he rings it, Jerry has already left the hotel, and then he comes back in. He's like, actually, I forgot this thing. And then he leaves again, and then that's when he can ring it again. And so it's just like, okay, every single time you think it's just going to be that, it's not. Eventually, Jerry comes in and he's like, I have a bad feeling about this stuff. So yeah, let's do it. And he goes back in, hears the bell. He's like, the hotel manager guy is like, oh, fuck. He's like, yeah, give me the fucking key. And he goes up to go save him.
Another one of my issues with the movie's logical, which you have context at the end. You have context. But I just didn't understand. I was like, this guy has proven that he will just send off someone he loves down a dumbwaiter to their death. And then all of a sudden, this guy who's in his way, he's like, I guess I gotta let him live.
Right.
It's just weird how he's like,
yeah, I mean,
just immediately murder him, man.
The only thing
he's already wounded.
Yeah, the only thing that I was interpreting for that, because I agree with that. I was like, yeah, this guy is like so down for murder, but then like not. And I was like, okay, the context that we need is that at the beginning of the movie, he gets like bitched at by this owner or whatever, who's like literally wheelchair bound, and he just fucking shrivels like a little bitch. And then he gets like, reprimanded by the guest, and he just like shrivels up. And then when he kills this woman, he drugs her, puts her in a dumbwaiter, and then sends her down. He doesn't stab her. He doesn't break her neck. He doesn't fight her. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, oh, this guy's just a pussy. It's like, yeah, he'll kill, but not if he has to fight someone to do it. You know what I'm saying? If there's any conflict, he's just going to run because he's a pussy. So he's not built like that.
Sure,
like, he's not even willing to fight this incredibly wounded guy who just jumped out of a moving vehicle, you know, whatever.
Limping around.
But then, of course, when Jerry goes up to the hotel, then all of a sudden the hotel manager comes up and shoots him in the back of the head with Chekhov's Chekhov's crossbow from the beginning of the movie for the goats. And so we're like, okay, so yeah, he will kill if he does it sneakily while he's behind you and not have to actually fight you.
Another funny moment, too, because you get this great cathartic moment where Adam Scott hears someone on the other side and he's like, oh my God, it's Jerry. And then Jerry's like, I got this small door that maybe I can open for you. Opens it up by chopping off the lock with an axe, opens the little door, and they get to see each other finally. And he's like, oh my God, it's you, Jerry. And he's like, it's you, Ohm. And then he's like, where's Fiona? And Ohm is like, she's dead, man. We got to get out of here. They're going to fucking kill us. How are you, man? Are you okay? Because he can see that he's wounded from jumping out of a truck. And Jerry says, I'll live. And then he gets shot in the fucking head. It was really funny. He says, I'll live. And then he gets shot immediately.
Yeah.
The movie really does. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. The comedic moments are comedic for sure. They do this entire sequence, which is like one of the best sequences in the movie because it's both very, very tense, but also really hilarious with him going up and down the dumbwaiter. And when we finish the rundown, I'll explain that because it's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Same.
But anyways, so the hotel manager, he cannot get into the room without risking getting into a fight with Adam Scott. So he stays outside of it. And Adam Scott has now the key to the gate at the bottom of the elevator to get out. But the hotel manager has already put into progress his master plan because I don't think he knew that this girl was going to die down there. I don't think he knew, there actually are witches and this girl's going to die. His plan was to, drug her, put her down there, and then burn the hotel down. So, the fact, I don't know what kind of poison he gave her. Maybe that's how she died. They don't really explain that. They explain every fucking thing else, but whatever. So that's how, she's dead. I don't know if he knew she was going to die or not, but his plan was to burn the hotel down. By the way, spoiler alert for The Shining, the book. The book, the hotel gets exploded at the end of it. So I was like, yeah, very Shining coded. Mm-hmm. So the building is now burning and this guy needs the key to get out. So what does Ohm do? He just goes down into the basement where the witches are. And the witches, they show up and they do what they talked about at the beginning of the movie. They shackle both of him and the hotel manager when he comes down looking for the key. But for whatever reason, I don't really know if maybe they were saying like his mom was protecting him and that's why this happened. But Ohm has been seeing, his mom, like the ghost of his mom a bunch. The mom that he shot in the face with a gun. And
on accident.
It was an accident. He's sorry. It was an accident.
Get over it.
Get fucking over it. Anyways, the hotel manager gets dragged into this open corridor, double doors that it just has a bunch of dark faces with, red eyes and just screeching loud, insanely loud audio that plays with this door open. And he gets, dragged into there. Yeah,
the glowing eyes thing was of that gang of witches.
Yeah.
Was ready to swallow him whole. It was also very Flanagan coded.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and then Adam Scott doesn't get taken. So he's able to actually go back up to the dumbwaiter. He goes down the elevator. And then when he gets down there, the whole place is on fire and then he passes out. Now, the hotel owner's son, who's been kind of an asshole the whole movie, is in the hotel. I didn't like this either. I was like, you come to the hotel, it's like everything is on fire, burning down. And he's like, I got to run in there. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you insane? Are you dumb? Like, what the fuck? It just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why would you run in there for any reason? I don't care what you think might be in there. Anyways, so yeah, he ends up going in there and he finds Ohm and then takes him out. And then now Ohm is back in the hospital. Anyways, so yeah, it wakes up in the hospital and the bellhop is now there. He actually works another job too, so he's wearing another uniform. And the bellhop is like, yeah, so when they found the tape recorder with the from this girl saying that this man killed her. So that's all good. They did find the remains of both the girl and Jerry And he's like, what about the hotel manager? And they're like, no, they think he's on the run. It's like, oh, he's not on the run. He got fucking kidnapped by witches. Anyways.
True.
And he's like, yeah, so also, just so you know, don't be mad at me, but the night that you went to go hang yourself, I had spiked your drink with the mushroom tincture that
Jerry made.
And he's like, why would you do that? And he's like, because you were mean to me. That's why. And I think that they're trying to imply like maybe he hallucinated some of the stuff, which I was like, they said it's been weeks. So I don't know how mushrooms work, or they were trying to imply once you do mushrooms, your third eye opens, and that's why he can see the ghost now.
Yeah, this whole movie was a pro psychedelic movie.
Yeah.
Take psychedelics. Open your fucking third eye, dude. It'll help you forgive yourself for shooting your mom in an accident.
Yes. If you don't do it, you will never forgive. Your mom will never be able to accept your forgiveness. So then they show he finishes the book now. He changes the end of the book in order to preserve the memory of Fiona, who wanted the book to end on a more positive note, but he's still himself. So what ends up happening is the guy, instead of smashing the bottle over the child's head, he gives the bottle to the child and says, smash this over my head and don't stop until you crack the bottle. And then the kid is right about to do it, but he can't, and he throws it away. And then they embrace in a hug. And then the camera comes out of the frame, and as it goes into this wide shot, you see that the bottle has landed feet away from the thing that they were looking for.
This whole time, I thought that it was just showing it landed next to something they could use to break the bottle. Maybe
that is the thing. I could have swore though. I don't know.
Either way, it's a good ending. I like the ending.
So either way, it both I think is the thing that they're kind of looking for, but also it's something they could have used to break the bottle, and it's the skull of a goat.
Yeah,
like all the goats in the movie. Yeah, a lot of dirks in this movie.
Hey, my goat.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Hokum. Very long-winded rundown. It's a late night. It's a late night recording, guys.
Yeah.
So let's give some context. We kind of did a little bit during the rundown, but some more context to this this bad writing that I hate, because so much of the exposition of this movie is done through dialogue. Now, even when he's like trauma dumping onto the girl at the hotel, I was like, this is really, really bad. And I was like, the only way that this makes literally any sense is that he's like, yeah, I'll just tell her that, my mom was killed and my father was an asshole because I'm about to go kill myself. But then it's like, but if that is the case where you're just like, yeah, I'll just fucking tell everyone everything, who cares, because I'm going to be dead in a few hours. Why wouldn't you just then say, yeah, I killed her. I was the one who shot her. He like says, oh,
that's
some
true.
Kid.
Yeah.
They didn't prosecute him because he was too young. And I was like, oh, okay.
Or maybe, but again, I guess I don't know. The more you say it, the more I'm like, the whole suicide angle kind of covers a lot of this. Because why would you not say that? Because you want to kill yourself, not go to jail.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone knows that he killed his mom. He literally said, yeah, they know who did it, but he was too young to prosecute. So literally saying like, yeah, it was an accidental.
Oh.
You're not going to arrest the kid for that.
I would have arrested the kid. Protect and serve.
Now, one of the things that I liked in terms of like foreshadowing or like, personification, with this book, with him writing this book, is he explains that the character is going to break open the bottle by smashing it over the head of this child over and over again. And that was a metaphor for how the movie was going to present him killing his mom to us and how he feels about that. Because they fucking smash it over your head over and over and over again, very blatantly. And you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, we get it. He killed his mom. He feels guilty about it. It's like, there's no subtlety to this at all. There's no, let's give you a couple of details and you can piece together, he was the one who killed his mom. Like, oh my God. Like, no, we're literally going to show it. We're going to show the scene of him opening a box and finding a gun and then the gun going off and his mom, with a hole in her hand, she comes up over to him before she dies and gives him a hug for the last time. It's like, yeah, I mean, and then of course, his father never forgave him, and that was, why they, hated each other. I'm not saying this is a bad story element. I'm not saying this is a bad backstory for this character. I really enjoy this backstory. I think this is a very Like, this is something that happens too. This is like, there's a whole documentary series that was on HBO like 2 decades ago about multiple deaths, accidental deaths of, children who had killed an adult or their parent or whatever, playing with guns. And so this is something that does happen. And it's a very interesting and creative backstory for this character who's kind of an asshole and writes stories now and isn't happy and all these things. But they just do it so much, even to the point where they have this bunny character, which doesn't have a lot of context to it, but it's fine. I don't care. It's a cool visual, I guess. It's kind of Uncanny Valley, thing.
Yeah, like cursed media, YouTube wormhole.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m.
It's
type
a very
vibes. It's very analog horror. I liked that scene a lot just because of that. Even though it is doing that by giving more exposition, I think that the exposition is in the background of that scene, if that makes sense. It takes second priority or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
The priority of that scene to me is to do that fearful, almost like It the Clown type thing.
Yeah.
Or Pennywise the Clown, sorry. Yeah, I just feel like that scene is to explore the horror of him so callously saying, like, you killed your mom. It's very intense. It does feel like
he
cursed
watches
media,
this like video of this. If you've seen like any trailers or promotional video, you'll probably seen the image of this little bunny character, and he's watching him on TV in this like hallucination type scene where he's doing a kids TV show where he's reading a thing about as if Ohm sent in a thing to the show saying I killed my mom, and he's like, yeah, no, don't ever play with
two
guns.
things we don't play with, kids: fire and
Foreshadowing.
guns.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's cool. I like that scene.
I liked that scene because of the visuals as well, but I hated the dialogue. I hated what it was there for, which was to provide exposition. I know you're saying like there's another context for it, like it's also there for the horror elements of it, and that's cool and all. But it's just like if they hadn't already shown this, had him tell us what happened in dialogue, and then show that scene happening again, and then now doing this again, I'm like, oh my god! In the last fucking 30 minutes, you told me this story 3 times. You've told me what happened when he was a kid 3 times now. Stop. Like
told us, showed us. Yeah, like
told us, showed us, told us.
Again. Yeah. I get what you're saying. It was way overdone, way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that part of the writing for me was lame. I was like, even when I talked about Jerry, like just being like, yeah, I killed my wife because she was in pain, whatever. I'm just like, I didn't like that because it just takes away an entire element of this movie. This entire element of
can you trust this guy?
Can you trust this guy?
Yeah.
It's like immediately like, oh, he's just a good guy. Like the first time we saw him,
he's misunderstood.
The first time that we saw him, it was like, yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Seems like, I'm like, it's a little weird that he's in the woods, but he seemed genuine when he said, I'm sorry for your loss. And he seemed, nice enough to share his moonshine with the guy and, explains to him, these mushrooms or whatever. And he's not like super weird or crazy or whatever about it. He's not trying to force it onto anybody else, He's just like, yeah, this is just something I like and enjoy, So it's like, yeah, he seems like a normal guy. And then when you find out, oh my God, he might be the guy who took this girl. It's like, oh man, he was the only guy at this whole fucking hotel who seemed normal and cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Is the guy who lives in the woods. But then you add this element and it's like, oh, he might have killed his wife. Like, but then at the same time, if you're this character, you're like, all you hear is his wife died under suspicious circumstances and then he went missing. And you in your head, you're like, if you're this character, you're like, well, I killed my mom in suspicious ways. I wouldn't want anyone to assume I did it on purpose. Mm-hmm. So it's like he probably thinks of that differently than everyone else does. Everyone else goes, oh, he killed her. He's a fucking terrible guy. He fucking killed her,
Yeah.
So then he goes and he talks to him. He's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that mystery is solved. There's no, whatever. I didn't like that. I was like, I would have much preferred this tension, a little bit of tension with this character.
Especially because it's set up really well, too, specifically in that scene and the way that it's framed. Because he finds his van in the middle of the woods and he starts looking at this crazed person's very manic decor of their van and seeing how sporadic it is and jumbled. And so you're like, oh, it's adding this kind of interesting mystery to it, and who is this person? And not only that, but then when we get these shots of Adam Scott looking in Jerry's direction as they're talking, behind him, one door of the van is open and the other one's shut. So it's this almost nearly half of the whole frame behind Adam Scott is shrouded in darkness, like something's about to come out of that van.
Yeah.
It was really like unnerving to me.
Yeah.
I love the way it was shot because it was genuinely just pitch black in that van, and it felt intentional, but it didn't come into play, but probably for the better. I didn't want something to jump out of it. It's the fear of something that could come out of that van.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he establishes like, oh yeah, I'm still a chill guy. I think we should team up and this is a buddy cop thing.
Yeah.
Then all of that fear goes away. I don't even the framing.
It's like I either don't want any of that context or no context. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that to be mentioned at all, or I want, you know, it to just be he's the only one in town who trusts this guy, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know.
Because mysteries are fun, yeah. We have a missing hotel staff member in Fiona. We have his wife's mysterious death. We have all this stuff going on at the same time, and it's like, yeah, you start getting really invested. And of course, the mystery that the movie builds up to the whole first act is the honeymoon suite.
Yeah, the honeymoon suite.
The honeymoon suite. Yeah, it's cursed by witches. It's this. It's that.
Another thing I thought they were playing into, and it turns out this was not a thing, because he kept saying like this is where his parents came for their honeymoon, and his mom really loved it there, and she talked about it a lot, and he was pretty sure that she stayed at the honeymoon suite when it was still open, and now it's haunted by witches and nobody can go in there. I was like, are they gonna play it up that his mom was a witch?
Yeah.
Like I really thought that was gonna be a thing.
Sure.
You know, I don't know, but that's not the case. She's not a witch.
Right. For the better.
Right.
Story wise.
I agree. Like towards the end, I was like, where are they gonna tie in that she was a witch? But they don't. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's fine. But anyways. Yeah, that element of it, I didn't like that, force feeding of exposition through dialogue. Anyway, so it's like, even if you are going to tell me his wife was really sick and she died because he did kill her, he put her out of her misery, still just doing it through dialogue, I'm just like, oh my God, dude, just throw away a whole fucking piece of the story. Like, I hate that. And you've played games like this too, where it's like, you're trying to figure stuff out throughout the game, and then you end up just reading a fucking huge block of text that explains everything.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
I really do hate that, yeah. So shout out to games like Ludo that do it well.
Yeah.
Ludo is top-notch storytelling. But yeah, the even more egregious examples of, it's kind of in the realm of writing, more so in was this a studio decision, is the stuff that is even more egregious, the stuff that you had in the theater you were really rubbed the wrong way by, which is they show clips from earlier in the movie. Something that we talk about all the time. And I don't know why movies still do this fucking shit, but they do it in this movie, and it's dumb and stupid and unnecessary.
They do it in Another Earth, and we gave that a 9.
Uh-oh. And then when
you only have a negative $40 budget and you have 10 minutes of footage.
Right. But yeah, one of the funniest ones to me, like just laughably, are we seriously doing this right now? Was when he finally gets to the honeymoon suite and he calls up the dumbwaiter, and it comes up to the top and you see Fiona's dead body, just lifeless, obviously, and very creepy looking. And then they do a close up of her name tag that says Fiona.
Yeah.
And it's like, we knew who that was. What the fuck is this?
Absolutely fucking egregiously bad.
Yeah. What are you doing with
the
this?
Substance level bad.
Exactly.
In terms of,
why did we just zoom in on her fucking name tag? That's obviously Fiona. Like,
yeah,
what?
It was very, very much a thing where, yeah, we were like, okay, someone in the fucking studio was like,
she wasn't wearing that the night that she found. What is she? Wait, who's?
That's not her, because Fiona was alive.
Fiona was wearing a hotel uniform when she saved Adam Scott. Why is this person in a costume? Who is this?
And then, so what do we do? What do we do right after we see Fiona is in the dumbwaiter, and then the guy the manager of the hotel, sprints out of the room, is we cut to flashback, him drugging her and putting her in the fucking dumbwaiter. I was like, so wait, if you were going to do that,
yeah, they're going to show it anyways.
Why the fuck did we zoom in on her goddamn name tag? And then And then right after that, they go play the tape, and she's like, "Hey, the manager put me in the dumbwaiter because of this reason." And he killed me. So I'm like, okay, so you fucking tell me, then you told me, then you told me. Like, how many times are we gonna triple down on information as if we just can't fucking even come up with an idea? The second we see he's about to push the button for the dumbwaiter, which this is another comedic moment. It actually was funny. And the fucking hotel manager's like, no, you don't have to push it. Nothing is down there. Nothing's down there. Nothing is. And he grabs his fucking wrist and he's like shaking. He looks at me and goes, nothing is down there. Don't push it. And he lets go. And then Adam Scott goes, and then pushes the button. And then the guy fucking sprints out of the room with a panic look on his face. We all in the theater. Everyone in the theater goes, he killed the woman.
Yeah.
He put her in there. He killed her. So it's like, even if you were like, well, I want to know why he did, you still have the tape recorder. So we didn't need to know that was Fiona by zooming in on her name tag. We didn't need the flashback of him putting her in the dumbwaiter because he put her in the dumbwaiter. Do we need to know when and how that happened? When I say that flashback is literally just showing him drugging her and putting her in the dumbwaiter and nothing else, no other information, I literally mean that. It was a completely worthless throwaway scene, you know? But again, it just feels like the studio, like, wait, when would he have done that?
Yeah.
Wait, how did he even do that, though?
Well, I don't want people to think that it was like the owner who did it. We need to, like, it was this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm really trying to, I don't know. It was awful. It was stupid.
Yeah.
And it's insulting.
Here's another thing that they do. So at the very beginning of this investigation, right? In the beginning of the investigation, Jerry explains to Ohm that he knows Fiona is in the honeymoon suite because he saw her ghost. He snuck into the hotel one night while he's on mushrooms, and he looked up and the bell to the fucking honeymoon suite started ringing, right? You know, it's a very cool, subtle horror thing, right? Whatever. And then we go, okay, well, this is foreshadowing. So we get towards the end of the movie, and Jerry is coming back to the hotel, and Ohm has just woken up and he's in this room and Jerry's in the hotel, and all of us who watched the movie and saw fucking 20 minutes ago that there's a bell connected to the room, we all go, he's going to ring the bell. Mm-hmm. So what do? Zoom in on the fucking bell. And then they play a scene of what we already just saw of the fucking bell being rung when Jerry snuck in earlier. I was like, so we knew that this was going to happen. Good foreshadowing. Good job. You did it. Great. As soon as Jerry walks in the building, I go, oh, he's going to ring the fucking bell. He's locked in the room. And then they zoom in on the bell. And I'm like, okay, I guess some people may have forgotten that. I didn't, but, you know, I'm not a normie, so whatever. And then they show the fucking flashback. So again, three times they show the foreshadowing of the beginning of the movie, then they zoom in on the bell thing, and then they show you that scene again from earlier in the movie of the bell being rung. So 3 times they're telling you this. And then they do the whole sequence where he can't even use the bell to alert him. It ends up like not helping for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's kind of drawn out, honestly, but I get it, like, as an allegory to the fucking book that he's writing, whatever. So yeah, all of that stuff is bad. Let's get to the next thing that me and Dan and Taylor, who went to go see this movie with us, by the way, shout out Taylor. She's going to have a review of her own on this episode. We're going to do an audio message from her before we do our scores. The horror elements in this movie are frustrating. Mm-hmm. Because there are multiple moments, maybe, and I think me and Dan were maybe like 8. I think less than 10 for sure, at least less than 10. Cheap jump scares. Okay. And we talk about this all the time when we talk about horror movies and how much we hate when a movie just plays a super fucking loud sting and then shows something scary, or they really, really fucking amplify the sound of something that's not scary, like someone tapping on their shoulder or whatever. And I was recently watching our GOAT YMS, you know, one of our favorite movie reviewers and a huge inspiration, and watched his video on Sinners. And he explained it in a way that I'm like, oh my God, we've never explained it like this on the podcast. I'm stealing this. So here's me stealing it.
Yeah.
He said when a movie does that, it is the equivalent of a sitcom playing a laugh track to tell you when to laugh. The movie is telling you when to be scared.
exactly.
Hey, be scared right now. Ah!
And he goes very in depth. He introduces something that I had never knew what this is called, but I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I think we've even described this before, but not knowing the term.
Right.
But he compares diegetic jump scares and non-diegetic jump scares. To describe, is the sound that is being played loud at the moment of the jump scare a sound that actually exists in the scene, or is it just added in post?
Right.
These are all added in post. I mean, nearly, right? I guess
there's one that isn't. There's one that I was like, okay, I actually forgive this one, and I think it was done well.
Sure.
Okay? It is when we get to that tape that we were talking about with the bunny and this like fake kids show or whatever, because Adam Scott thinks that he sees something in the reflection of the TV in the hotel or in the suite. And when he looks behind him, he doesn't see it. So he's trying to really look, and he keeps getting closer and closer to the TV until his face is touching it and his ear is touching the speaker. And then the TV turns on and it's blasting. And I was like, okay, our character was very close to this TV, right next to the audio, and the TV comes on.
That makes sense.
This can be very loud. This would be very loud. That makes sense. Literally just a person standing over your shoulder and going, ah, is not good.
Yeah.
And this is what they did in Insidious, and it's the same fucking composer from Insidious, by the way.
Yeah.
They do this like we said, probably about 8 times. You know, bazinga, be scared. And it's when they do it, it is really, really bad. It's as bad as it gets. It is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, for these non-diegetic jump scares.
Yeah. And
we're becoming scholarly.
We're becoming scholarly. We're never those guys. Like, we talk about stuff in, I think, a way that people... I have actually been really glad that I've had people who listen to this podcast tell me that they understand movies better by listening to this podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, so we're not so out there that you can't understand what we're saying. You know, we're not, we're using words like diegetic and non-diegetic, whatever. Not that that's impossible to understand. I'm just saying, like, I like that people are able to listen to our podcast and understand movies better and understand why they don't like certain things or understand why they do like certain things in a very simple and easy and fun and, interesting and engaging way. And that's why we call them cheap jump scares, because you know what we mean by that. They're not trying very hard to scare you. They're doing it in the cheap and easy way.
Yeah.
That's why we call them cheap jump scares. You're not putting in effort to scare me. You're just doing it a cheap way. So that's why it's like that. And that's why we call them that. And for me, one of the things that's important about that element of horror is that in every aspect of film, you want things to be motivated. You want, the blocking to be motivated. Why would a character walk over here and do this thing? We call that giving them the business. Why are they a character who fidgets with a pencil or whatever? In Project Hail Mary, Ryan Gosling's character is always wearing his glasses, fucking weird and shit. It's like motivated actions, motivated story progression, motivated lighting. When there is light shown on a character, we want to at some point show in that scene where that light is coming from. When they don't do that, the lighting feels unnatural and it feels uncomfortable. And that's why when you watch Netflix movies, you go, wait, why is there a red light in here? Because the directors thought it would look fucking cool. And yeah, it looks cool, but where's the red light bulb shining this red light? You know what I'm saying? So, like, they do this especially for, like, daylight a lot of times. Like, they will have to do an establishing shot in an office with 2 people showing open windows if they want to do lighting coming from the fucking windows. You have to motivate the lighting. So, when we talk about this, diegetic versus non-diegetic and cheap jump scares versus, natural jump scares and suspense horror versus jump scare horror, we're not saying we hate jump scares. We're not saying that they should never exist and they are just bad. And we're not saying that, they should have done it this way, you should have done it that way. That is a big element of it. Motivate this jump scare, right? Mm-hmm. Why does this jump scare happen? Is there some, and in this movie, they do it. The thing that's frustrating about this horror in this movie, and that's why I started this by saying it's frustrating, is that if I thought, well, this director's a fucking hack, he can't do it any better. He doesn't know how to fucking make horror movies. If I thought that, then I would be like, all right, whatever. He just, I'll forgive sinners for having a non-diegetic jump scare, a cheap jump scare in that movie and multiple cheap jump scares in that movie. Because I'm like, this is a guy who makes Marvel movies. He doesn't really know horror like this, to this degree of like, fucking John Carpenter level horror,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This guy knows how to fucking do it. And he knows how to do it in this movie. In this movie, there are some incredible horror sequences that legitimately scared me, that legitimately had my heart racing and had me on the edge of my seat and made me feel a sense of dread. And I know you talk about that too, like dread is a big part of horror that can make a horror movie better, is the sense of dread. And I agree with that. And I think that they do that in this movie. He's trapped in this room. There are, it's like this guy who was going to kill himself anyway. There's moments in this movie where I'm like, yeah, there's a dread of just like, what is he going to do? There are moments of suspense and just like, a fear of the unknown that gets played a lot into this movie that is done so well. There's a whole sequence where, he's crawling through underneath this table to a small door that could potentially lead out. He ends up, we talked about it in the rundown, he does end up using that door later, but it's locked at this time. And he's in this really tiny crawl space. It's very claustrophobic. This director loves that. Mm-hmm. And, we see these like, faded images of his mom in the background. And then we cut back and then she's not there. And he looks out into the room and there's nothing there. And it's really, really still and very, very like eerie, And I was like, my heart actually started to race. And they actually moved on from that sequence without doing a jump scare.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, that was so good. There's this sequence too, like when I talk about these audio jump scares, they are loud.
Very loud.
And it's not even something in the scene being amplified, like the tapping on the shoulder type of thing. This is just a musical sting.
Yeah.
Bad,
The dream sequence when the bunny is standing right above him, the one from the trailer.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the worst examples, or I guess best examples of that audio shit where is this coming from? We just cut to something
right up in your face.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
And they played that sting for a long ass time too when that bunny shows up.
I know. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to.
But yeah, it's bad. You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, when you say frustrating, it's also frustrating in the fact that some of these scenes with these awful audio cue jump scare shit are cool.
Yeah.
Like, take that out.
They would be good without the jump.
Just take that sound out, and this would rock. I liked the very opening jump scare. I liked the way it was blocked. I like that you see this figure on the stairs. I like, too, that the figure gets very comfortable and reaches for the railing next to it, like it's hanging out.
Yeah.
There's something very scary about it, and the way that it's framed is perfect. And then the idea of him having this light next to him that he can rotate to then illuminate those stairs.
Right.
Okay, cool, we get that. There's no one there, of course. And then the jump scare is that he puts the light back down, and right behind where the light was blocking, behind him even, is now a person.
Yeah.
You do that without you do it without that, and it's scarier.
Yeah.
I was about to say it's scarier.
Scarier. 100%.
And so I'm just like that's why it's frustrating. That's in a different way too, because it's like you already had the sauce. You had a 10 out of 10 burger, and then you're like, and then we pour cheese all over it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need that, man.
Right.
It was already perfect. Like, why did you?
And if you don't believe me, like, think about this. Again, I mentioned John Carpenter, someone who really understands horror. In one of his best movies and one of my favorite horror movies of all time, crazy iconic moment in Halloween when Laurie is sitting at the foot of the closet, and then slowly Michael Myers' face comes into focus as he peers out of the darkness of the closet. Iconic moment, very heart racing and scary. Imagine if they did that and went, and then just cut to Michael's face and go,
Yeah.
that'd be fucking awful, It's like, and that's an actual like slasher movie where the whole plot is guy kills people.
Yeah,
it's like, and that did it better. So like this, even like what you're talking about, like this opening sequence. In context of this movie, I can respect and appreciate this from a writing perspective, even and I know I talk so much shit about the script because they just force fed and again, if I thought, oh, well, they're no good at, telling a story. That's why they did this shitty stuff. No, they are. In the opening sequence of the movie, he sees a figure that he can't, decipher, and it doesn't seem threatening. It just seems like it's kind of there. Then he does the, light thing, and it's gone. And then the thing is behind him, and he doesn't even know. But we know because it goes, right?
Yeah.
And this continues to happen, for a while in the movie that, creepy or scary stuff that happens and he's just kind of oblivious to it, or he's, not quite there. Then we get Jerry explaining, oh, if you do mushrooms, you open up your third eye. And then Jerry says, I saw the ghost of Fiona, who told me that she was in the honeymoon suite. And I saw the ghost of my wife in the past. And she told me that, she was, I was going to see her again one day. So he's like, I believe in an afterlife. I believe once you open your mind with mushrooms that you can see ghosts, you can see people from the other side, and you can communicate with them. And he's like, whatever, that's total fucking bullshit. It's like total bullshit. And so he's still closed. So even though he's now done mushrooms, he's still closed his third eye, off to this idea until he needs his mom in this moment where he's about to get kidnapped by witches, and then he can finally see her for the first time. Mm-hmm. And he can feel her presence, and he can communicate with her and know that she can, talk to him back. And it's like, so it's like they're using him doing mushrooms and, whatever as also the idea of when you are grieving and when you feel guilt and you just shut everything out and you shut out the whole world. This metaphor of like, blocking yourself off from negative emotions, and then the feeling of, processing through that, it's like, oh yeah, you never actually recover from like childhood trauma or things like that until you are willing to think about them again and willing to embrace these bad things that have happened or whatever. Then you can actually start to heal. That's a great personification of that using a horror element. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, hey, so it looks right at the camera. I killed my mom when I was younger. I shot her in the face, and then my dad was a fucking ass. I'm like, okay, so you know how to write a story. I know because you did it. Right? I know you know how to do horror, and I know you know how to do sound design for a horror sequence, because when he goes down the fucking dumbwaiter, you get one of the best horror moments of the entire movie. One that everyone in our row was like, heart, like fucking assholes clenched to the max. He's in the dumbwaiter, and it's supposed to be going up. And I'm going to explain this dumbwaiter sequence a little bit in a minute, because when I talk about the good stuff, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And he's sitting in the dumbwaiter waiting for it to go back up, and the lights down this cobblestone tunnel leading towards the witches, obviously, the lights in the back of the hallway start to go out. Like one, and then you hear like a little bit of wind, and then you just hear echoing through the cobblestone just, and it's like a woman kind of screaming, but also like a baby crying at the same time. Just something that was like, oh, this is like a siren sound. If you like heard this in the woods, you would think someone was in danger, kind of thing. But also we know it's something coming for him right now. We also saw down this hallway, there's like a really low hanging set of chains with stuff hanging off of the chains. And we were told about these chains and, the shackles, whatever. And then like after you hear that, the next thing you hear even closer is of the chains. So this thing's getting closer because now it's like that far away wherever the chains were.
Yeah, we're full echolocation now.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, she's at the chains.
It's like, this is asshole clenching fucking get him the fuck out of there type of horror. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to, witch and scream. I'm like, what? You know how to do this. I know, like at the end of the movie when you drag the guy into the hell or whatever, it's just loud. It's just loud. It's like, it's kind of cool, I guess, just screaming like like if you were to open a door to hell, what it would sound like. But it's not like that impressive in terms of an audio design. Not nearly as good as this fucking, dumbwaiter scene. So why now all of a sudden it's just, just make it loud.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like you said, he's been proven to be really, really good with audio design, much less just fine with it. So that's what's so weird about it. That's what makes me go, is it a studio thing? Because his last two were not big. They were both Shudder movies, his last two. So very, very small budget and small resources. And then I'm curious about this. Speaking of small resources, I said that and I was thinking about this. This is another movie that we've seen this year that is not in the U.S., right? This is in Ireland. And the credits have like Ireland Film Association. You know, same thing with Nirvana, the band, the show. Canada Film Association. And I'm like, damn, they really got a lot of support from their countries. I wonder what that shit's like.
Well, the problem is that for us, it's a state level thing. That the states, like some states have film tax incentives, you know, to make it, you know, cheaper for people to be able to make movies in those states. Not every state has them, you know. Obviously, the big ones like New York and California obviously do. It is positive. Obviously, it's a good thing. We want to see, you know, filmmakers to be supported in one way or the other, especially when we're filming abroad. And also, it's good to see countries supporting their filmmakers as well. Yeah, this country would fucking never, dude. Yeah. But anyways.
The non-diegetic jump scares were bad.
But the diegetic jump scares, or diegetic horror in general, I don't even know if that makes sense. I don't know.
Was done well.
Was done well. The horror that they do without this bullshit jump scare thing was done really, really well. So good that it was like, I was jealous of it. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. The movie does some weird Family Guy cutaways too.
Yeah,
they do that quite a bit in this movie.
Why is every like so? Anytime someone starts telling a story, they cut to showing that what they're telling them.
It's weird, but at the same time, that was one of my favorite horror sequences in the movie. Was the bellhop putting the lighter through the gate into absolute pitch darkness and getting that just little glimpse of the witch's face. I thought that was really fucking creepy. Yeah. Really creepy. And if you guys watch, and you should, any of my Sunday Scaries, you know that I am personally that is a personal fear of mine with these horror games, is when they give me a lighter and say, okay, now walk around this dark house. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Like the lighter darkness horror shit it really does get to me. So that was right up my alley in terms of what will scare me. I thought it was really cool.
There is something that I want to talk about that's not scary, and someone needs to go and here's another list we want. No one's completed that list, by the way. If anybody still wants to compile a list of every movie we've reviewed.
$70 on the table.
We have talked about, like, you know, Smile. We go, smiling is not scary to us. It will never be scary to us. And we also say that old people, just in general, aren't scary. Like, I'm not scared just because they are old. And also, like, for us, like children, like, you know, I think a lot of people are just afraid of children in movies. If you do a child going, you want to play? Like, they think that's scary, and it's kind of not. Mm-hmm. Here, let's add this to the list. A creature character, whatever it is, crawling on the ground or crawling even up a wall is not scary. I'm over it. Crawling towards me is not scary. Even in like Hereditary, when she crawls away, it's kind of goofy.
It's absolutely kind of goofy. At least they did it in an interesting way that she's floating. I think that was floating, cool.
And you don't even see her for a really long time.
Yeah, I think that was what was more interesting about it compared to stuff like this. And she was crawling away, not towards. But yeah, I kind of agree with this because it makes what it does. It's similar to my issue with the want to play, blah, blah. I'm like, I would punt this little fucker to the moon. And it's the same thing with like, it's the same shit with this. Like, if your character starts crawling hands and knees towards me, you are making yourself defenseless. I'm going to kick your head off like Adam fucking Terry. Like, it's like you are putting me at an advantage by crawling towards me. So that is not scary to me. Yeah, they do it in this movie because they actually I don't want to say ruin, but they really sour a specific sequence in this movie where Adam Scott's character Ohm is looking down at the area he just escaped from at the bottom of the dumbwaiter. And he's finally back at the top in the room, and he's looking down that long shaft where the dumbwaiter goes down. Wait, long shaft. There you go. And he's looking down it, and he can start to see slightly the facial features emerging from the darkness down there of the witch. And they keep cutting back and forth to the witch's perspective and Ohm's perspective. They keep cutting back and forth, and it's this really intense, creepy standoff type thing of them looking at each other, and her slightly kind of grinning, just looking at him like, I can't wait to fucking suck on your bones, motherfucker, you know? But then all of a sudden, instead of lingering on that the right amount, it then just turns into her starting to crawl up the shaft.
Yeah.
And then it gets goofy. Then it gets really goofy to me because it makes her look like a little baby. She's like,
yeah.
And again, you're also very defenseless in this moment.
Yeah.
You're making yourself very defenseless. So,
and what's even, again, when we say all of the horror elements in the movie are frustrating, it's like, that's not good. That's not scary. We need to add this to our list of things we think are not scary but are used for horror in movies all the time. But then when we get to him, he's running away from her. He ends up climbing through a window that leads into the bathroom, and he falls into this pool of disgusting fucking just black water liquid that's filled this old haunted bathtub. Very good. Like,
we've all been there.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I know Dan is upset about that, you know? But yeah, so when he escapes, he's standing in the bedroom area of this honeymoon suite, and he's standing right next to the door that's locked. And in the background of the scene, like out of focus, is this like stained glass window that you peers into the bathroom, and we see the witch floating from the top of the window that was above the bathtub into the bathroom. And I was like, that was scary.
Yeah, that was cool.
The crawling was not.
Right.
This is scary. If she I think if you do the exact same sequence in the dumbwaiter, and he's looking down and she's looking up, and he's thinking, I'm safe, and she's thinking, ooh, how am I gonna get you? And then she looks up, and then you just start seeing her float towards him, it would have been scarier.
Probably.
What I think what should have really happened is he should have seen her, she sees him, he sees her, he backs out, closes the fucking thing, and then the next thing we see is just her hand coming through the dumbwaiter door. That would have been scary too.
I think so too. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not saying for every good horror sequence, there's a bad horror sequence. That's not true. There are more good horror sequences than bad ones in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay? I think the good ones are better than the bad ones are bad. But the reason why we are harping on it so much is because you can do better. We know you can do better, do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frustrating and annoying are the words that you can use for that, because
instead of egregious and
instead of this fucking sucks. It's not that it isn't a bad thing. It's just that we've already seen examples that we know that this director can do better. So it's weird that it was in this, and yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing I want to talk, I guess we can kind of go on a favorite part, least favorite part. And I'll explain my favorite part in depth because I haven't done it yet and I keep talking about it. It's this dumbwaiter sequence. And there's a couple of dumbwaiter elements of this thing. We keep mentioning it like it's this one-time thing. He's stuck in this fucking place the whole movie. So, basically what's going on is that he is needing to go down the dumbwaiter, but he knows that and this is my favorite part of the movie. Hey, this is my favorite part, and then I'll talk about my least favorite part. He knows that the dumbwaiter cannot be ascended from the bottom of the dumbwaiter. There's no button down there to send it back up. So there's only a button in the room that can be pushed to bring it up and down, right? Also in the room, since the moment that he stepped in, there has been this like cuckoo clock type thing of a little boy golfing, and he like every now and then turns and he hits a bell with a golf ball. Every so often the thing turns. So again, good foreshadowing. I kind of knew that this is where this was going to go, and I was like, if I was in this escape room, I would use that for this. And then he does. So he grabs it, takes the bell off of it, sets the clock up next to the dumbwaiter doorbell. It kind of looks like a doorbell button, so that it'll automatically, whenever the clock turns the little boy with the golf thing, it's gonna hit the button. So he goes down the shaft, and a bunch of spooky shit happens, and he's now really scared, and he's trying to go back up, and then all of a sudden the thing is not working. The clock is not working, and it's not hitting the button, and they keep showing the thing like and it's like to the point to where it becomes comedic. Where he's like, you gotta be fucking, this thing has been annoying the fuck out of me, dinging this bell every fucking whatever over and over again. And then as they like keep showing the clock, they then zoom in all the way onto the little boy's face, and he's got like this smug fucking grin on his face.
Eye. Yeah.
It's this like little fucking metal, sculpture of this boy. And he's like, all right. And he hits, what I'm saying? He doesn't like, he just does it. And I was like, oh, okay, this was really funny. I was like, this is both really scary. He's stuck in this dumbwaiter. We hear this horrible sound. And it's also really funny with the timing and the editing and the, zoom in on the face and the design of this fucking clock, all was done so well. And I was like, this is like what makes this movie great. Everything I love about this movie exists in this sequence. It is scary. It is filled with tension. It is, good problem solving and creativity. It's got good, sound design in this sequence. Very claustrophobic and whatever, and dread and feeling of hopelessness, and also very comedic and well timed and well edited, and the lighting is very perfect in every element of it. So all the stuff I think is great about this movie exists in this sequence, and it was just done so well. I'm like this fucking sequence is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
My least favorite part of this movie is the exposition dialogue. I just think that I liked the story, and I would have liked it more without that being the way they did the exposition. I think that they could have kept the things a little bit more subtle, give us 2 + 2 and not 4. And, they didn't even give us 2 + 2 = 4. They said 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. I'm just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Goodness gracious, guys. Yeah, it could have been done way better.
Yeah, my favorite part of this movie, just how well they balance how much is going on. Doing this whole meta thing of him writing a story that then comes into play about how his story plays out was really ambitious, and it worked well. And also this mystery of where did Fiona go? And also there's a witch in this room. And also I had this traumatic thing happen to me when I was a child, and I need to learn to love myself and forgive myself and trust my instincts. And there's so much going on in such a pretty straightforward, basic film. And I think that it balances all of it really well. It was an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And it's easy for horror movies, especially small budget ones, to be boring. And I think that's what impressed me the most about Caveat. I was like, this is literally 2 characters. This movie is 2 characters. Speaking of Saw,
3 kind of.
And even Saw, like you think about Saw, it's like you have these. Oh, they cut to. I think his name's Zepp or something. Cut to Zepp is in Dr. Gordon's home holding his family hostage. Oh, okay. We changed locations.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of characters now. So it's like it's even smaller scale than that, Caveat. So
yeah.
I think that he's clearly shown that he is really good at getting an interesting story out of so little. And even this, which is a bigger budget and more resources, it's still small in scale. And so he did a good job at balancing all of that. Damian McCarthy is just I will watch anything he puts out. He's one of my favorite he's one of my favorite directors in the space.
Yeah.
Right now. I think he has a really refreshing voice, and he's very interesting in that way.
I will say there's a book series, the Finlay Donovan series. It's like a 6-book series. I've read 3 of them, I think, where in those books, the main character is an author, and then like what she's writing in her book like ends up affecting what is happening in this actual story of her real life. So it's very similar in that aspect. And I think we've seen that before too, where like a character is writing a book and then what they end up writing is affected by what they're doing. And then Stranger Than Fiction is 2 different characters.
Adaptation.
adaptation is, I mean, so I'm not saying like, oh, the way they did it was fucking hack. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
They did it really well.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, very minimal, like just, it's not exactly what happens in the book. It's like, anyways, but yeah, I've seen that element done before. We are not hacks, so we didn't do that in our movie.
True. Which is coming out.
It's coming out, so you better get this party started.
I'm coming. My least favorite part of the movie was the audio jump scare shit. It just was the most souring thing about that. I like even the beating us over the head with how he killed his mom and stuff. That was actually less bothersome to me than that. You know what's funny about the movie that we haven't mentioned because it's not really that noteworthy, but it is strange, is the sequence after he gets found hanging, and then it's the entire film changes.
Oh,
it's black and white, and it's like this weird grain effect. Yeah. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, Taylor clocked that in the theater that was him dying.
I was about to say, it seemed like he was in a purgatory between space.
Yeah, like he was trying to take the elevator down. It looked like, but it always opened up on the same floor.
And then, of course, it leads to a bad jump scare. Before the jump scare, it was really interesting horror because of the sounds coming from the floor. But then now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, because the jump scare was his mom in the elevator with him.
Right.
So it is like she was a guardian angel there to not let him die.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting how...
And he says that the girl at the hotel reminds him of his mom, too. And then she's the one who saves him. And then, that's why he goes and looks for her. They did kind of motivate that a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's so gung-ho to find this woman. He's like, oh, I was going to die, so now I actually have a purpose.
So it's really a very fascinating sequence, the way that it's done. It's almost like a Doppler. Like it's it's that grainy and dotty. It's very strange, that sequence. It was cool, though. But, Hokum.
Before we give our scores, we're going to play a message from our producer. I'm sorry, I don't have my adapter set up for my phone, so I'm just going to play it into the microphone.
This is Taylor, producer of the pod, and this is my mini review of Hokum. Hokum was pretty good. I think I'd give it a 6. I would love to watch it again. I think I would see things and experience the movie in a little bit of a different way seeing it again. Also, seeing it at home at an appropriate volume. I think the movie suffered from poor sound mixing or poor audio engineers. I'm not quite sure which one. But it was incredibly loud. Keep in mind I have a concussion right now, but I think it was abrasively loud and inappropriately so. Also, the cheap jump scares really pushed me down in the score. I hate cheap jump scares. I'm a jumpy person, so I don't like being gotten by sound. It just irritates me. But I think the movie also does some incredible horror, and I think all the actors did a great job for the most part, especially Adam Scott, of course. And I think it was a genuinely funny movie, which was surprising with how scary and horrifying it can be. So I was surprised with how funny it can be. So I give it a 6 out of 10, I think, because some of the horror elements were really impressive, and I really did enjoy my time in the movie. And it was only an hour 40, so it wasn't this massive waste of time. It was appropriate length, and I would absolutely watch it again.
Yeah. So there's Taylor's review.
Well put, Tay.
I actually really appreciate her perspective on the jump scares too, and her saying that she's someone who gets got by these. Like, these were happening, and me and Dan were rolling our eyes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Not that we don't get got by jump scares in general. There are times, but this one, they were just so bad in this one that I didn't jump at any of them, you know? And she is someone who does jump at every jump scare. So when we say it's a cheap jump scare, part of that is her perspective on that. She's like, well, Taylor loves horror movies, and Taylor likes to be scared when she's watching horror movies, but she wants them to earn it. When they just do it with audio, she's like, well, that's fucking lame. You just got me because of the audio. You know, it's like she actually really appreciates a good jump scare that is built up naturally and then comes out of nowhere, you know, instead of just this audio thing, you know. So it's like when we say cheap, that's kind of what we mean. Yeah, they're just trying to fucking buy it with audio and instead of, you know, putting in the effort to, you know, generate this jump scare. So yeah, shout out to Tay for that. I'm giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. So I'm a little bit higher on it than Taylor, but yeah, I think that I agree with her that I am excited to watch. I would watch this one again. I'm excited to watch it again. Like I said earlier, the good stuff is better than the bad stuff is bad.
Yeah, in that same vein, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Definitely lower on it than y'all two. And I think I'm just willing to admit straight up, it's because I was so hyped.
Oh.
It's because I was expecting a lot more. And so I am letting that affect my score, but that is, at least I can admit it. And that's the freshest takes in the latest movies. Yeah. If I did not have this much hype for the movie, it would definitely be up towards it would be a 6 for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if I had seen Oddity, if I would feel differently about this one.
Who knows?
You might have that extra context.
It could be. I mean, you might like this movie better than Oddity. That's the thing. It's a very different type of horror. It's a very different type of movie in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't know.
So we're not going to be doing an official part 2, but really quickly, I have a how many actors to guess the movie because this was requested from us. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me get this cast list pulled up in whole. All right. Your first actor is Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. 13 going on 30.
No. Your next actor is Paul Dano.
Paul Dano and Mark Ruffalo. Oh, what have they been in together? Little Miss Sunshine.
No, your third actor is Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara. Paul Dano, Mark Ruffalo. I'll tell you what, man. If we were recording in the morning after a cup of coffee, I would nail these. I just want to make that very clear. But right now, I can't. Give me Home Alone.
Number 4, Forrest Whitaker.
I genuinely don't know anything he's in. The Amateur. Wait, no, that's not even him.
Southpaw, The Prison Experiment. It's not those, but you know.
Let's Go to No, that's not him either. I'm thinking of, I don't even know.
Your whatever number actor is James Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini. Let's see. What are you gonna fucking do about it? James Gandolfini. Have I seen this movie?
Pretty sure.
You usually give me movies I've never seen, which is very unfair.
Very unfair, but it's because I like to do. So you see how many fucking. Hey, you gave us Valentine's Day. You think we ever seen that shit? Fuck you.
Yeah, skip.
All right. Catherine Keener.
I know her face. She's from Get Out and 40-Year-Old Virgin. I feel like I've read this exact cast list before. This is animated.
No.
Wait a minute. I fucking know this, bro. What year did it come out?
2009.
2009? Why do I know skip?
All right. Your movie was Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Live action, Where the Wild Things Are. Yeah. I saw that cast and I was like, whoa. That's a lot of
Dave's always
people.
giving me ones I've never seen.
And I was like, I want
rigged to beyond belief.
This is a good one to do it for because we're not doing an official part 2, and it's fun to do in movies that you've never seen, especially because I was like, you know what's so great about this one? He's going to ask me, is this animated? And the answer is no, but everyone I just listed is a voice actor in this movie because they're playing the puppets. So it's not animated. This is live action, but they are doing voice acting.
Also, I just realized how, man, I guess Spike Jonze and Catherine Keener, I think she was also in being John Malkovich. I think that
Was she in Her?
they must work together a lot. I don't know.
Was she in Bad Grandpa?
All right, I'll give you one real quick.
Oh, fuck. Fuck, I didn't think I was going to be fucking...
All right, it's your turn. I'm going to give you how many actors to guess the movie. First actor, and this is why I thought of it. First actor, and this is why I thought of it. Michael Gandolfini.
oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, dude. Fuck. I don't know. Goodfellas?
Damn, you got it first try. No. His son was not in Goodfellas.
Oh, I didn't know it was his son. I thought it could be his dad.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know his lineage.
You don't even know, bro.
Wait, is it the Saints of New York or whatever?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The prequel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Richard Kind.
Okay, is this Inside Out?
Not Inside Out. Good guess.
Is it Inside Out 2? Don't fucking do this.
Don't fucking do this to me. Bill Hader.
Is this animated? You don't have to tell me. I mean, with that guy, I assume it is, but you never know. It's not like he's only in anime movies, but he usually is. Monsters, Inc.?
Good guess. It's not Monsters, Inc. Amy Ryan, or as most people know her, Holly from The Office.
Skip. Holly from The Office.
Or as a lot of people know her before The Office, she was in season 2 of The Wire.
Season 2 of The Wire. That's it.
Nathan Lane.
This has to be animated, bro. This fucking those two voices. Oh my god. Why am I only thinking like Pixar movies? But what movie would James Gandolfini's son be in? I don't know.
All right, we're getting to the big actors here now.
Oh boy. Does James Gandolfini's son look like him? I don't even never seen his face. Didn't even know he had a son that was an actor.
He does look like him, yeah.
I'm a fucking hack. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know ball.
Parker Posey.
Parker full of Posey. Is she even in Shape of Water?
I will never know because I'm not watching that movie, man. Sorry.
I don't think she is. I recognize her, but I can't think of a single movie she's in.
All right, you ready for the big one?
Okay, big one.
Last actor, Joaquin Phoenix.
Hey, I'm walking here. Is it her?
It is not her.
Fuck, I thought you were doing another Spike Jonze movie. Fuck.
I wasn't.
Wait. Is this The Master?
This is not The Master.
Ah, fuck, I thought you were doing another movie I haven't seen on purpose.
I'll give you one more because she was last week's guest on So True. Zoe Lister-Jones.
Zoe Lister-Jones, who I know from last week's episode of So True. Lister-Jones, I hardly know her, Jones. Is she related to Spike?
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Okay. Gladiator. Wait, why the fuck would James Gandolfini's son be Gladiator? Hold on, wait. I'm just gonna name every Joaquin Phoenix movie that I know. He's been in a lot of fucking. It's not Joker.
It's not the Joker. Keep going, bro. You got it.
Okay, so the guy that you showed me, the guy with the voice, you know who I'm talking, which one I'm talking about. It's very late for us guys. He's like only in comedies and animated movies. So I'm like
Nathan Lane.
No, not Nathan Lane. The other guy.
Oh, Richard Kind.
Richard Kind.
Yeah.
I know him as a voice actor. Nathan Lane also does a lot of voice acting, but wait. Beau is Afraid?
Beau is Afraid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I remember that little. There's only fucking 40 movies inside that movie.
I knew that Bill Hader, Richard Kind, when you saw his face, because I didn't know his name either, but I know that face. But I knew when I did Richard Kind, Nathan Lane, and Bill Hader, you'd be like, this is animated.
Well, yeah, that's okay. So Richard Kind has a very famous voice, has done a ton of voice acting. Yeah. But it's also like I know his face too, like 100%. You know, like he's an icon in the industry. But Yeah. Yeah, dude, what the fuck, man? That movie has 30,000 characters in it. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't
you
remember.
and I were in fucking Bo's Afraid at some point in the background.
I think so. I think we were in
part of
that.
the fucking part I was sleeping during that 4-hour snooze fit. No.
But no, yeah, I thought about that movie recently just because when I was listening to Zoe Lister-Jones' episode, I was like, on True, So True, I was like, bro, she played Bo's mom in Bo's Afraid.
Oh, yeah.
And now she's over here just like, yeah, I mean, dating's hard. Like, this was Bo's mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was like, man, what? I need to rewatch that.
Well, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. Yeah, tonight's episode. When we tell you guys good night, this is the fucking reason. If you want to get involved in the conversation, let us know what you thought of this movie. If you went to go see it, let us know what you thought of this episode. We are at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to come watch us stream and laugh as hard as we laugh at ourselves when we watch ourselves back on our old streams, you can do that at Wild Dream Stream on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. But until next time, we love you. We kiss you.
Good night.
Good night.